Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Golick, video content producer. Welcome back to another live stream. Today is a very exciting day for me because I am now fully, well, bam, vaccinated. I also wasn't sure if my appointment was like an hour and a half ago, so I wasn't sure if I'd make it in time. So I'm glad I am here in time. Uh, but I did plan to not really be here on time, or just planning to feel all the symptoms of the second shot. So far, suspiciously, I'm really good. It didn't even feel like I know I got the shot, but it didn't feel like anything. I was like, did you push it in? Did I get the vaccine? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got it. But I am very excited, and I want to talk today, not necessarily a tutorial video or anything like that, but I want to give you insight. If you are someone who wants to host a live video event, whether it's a live event that you also want live streamed at good quality, not like, oh, we'll just set up a Zoom in the back, not that level. That's lazy live streaming. Real live streaming with your live event. If you are someone who is interested in that, if you are someone who needs to broadcast, live stream your event or your content to, a Facebook group, to YouTube Live, to LinkedIn, wherever you're going, I want you to know that it is not as simple as just buying a nicer camera, plugging it in, and going live. Unfortunately, a lot of people do think that, and it just and then they get discouraged because it's still not a great live stream, and then they spent money, and it's just like, oh well, this is annoying and I don't like live video, and then they give up, which is really sad because live video has so many perks and so much capability and applicability that you can use it to leverage your event, to leverage your talk. And I know I've mentioned this before, I'm just a huge fan of live video because you can create really great video content and you do it live, and then you're done. There's no editing, there's no procrastinating, and oh well, I don't have all the right graphics. You show up, you do it live, and you have your great content with your great expertise. So I'm a big fan of live. And if you are too, and you are hosting an event that you want live video at, this isn't going to be a tutorial of how to exactly do it, but it is going to be a video giving you some behind the scenes of some things you want to look out for, some things you might want to do that you might not think of to better prepare yourself. Or when it comes to hiring a team to live stream your event, getting a better sense of, are they newbies that don't know what they're doing, or do they know what I'm going to talk about, and do they know how to make the best out of the situation for your live? So, some backstory. I did a live event 3 days ago, and it was the most ambitious live stream that I've ever produced. It was very nerve-wracking, and by far this was my most stressful event of the year. If I have a more stressful event this year, I will be impressed. Also scared. So on Sunday, Mother's Day, I live streamed a wedding. Now, this wedding was a little more complicated than a traditional wedding, than a normal American wedding. This was an Indian wedding where it was a hybrid Indian wedding. So the bride was Indian and the groom was Australian. And very, very very different from a normal wedding day. And I've done Indian weddings before. I can't say I've done an Australian wedding before, but um, there was a lot involved. The ceremony was about an hour and a half long, which is pretty typical. And there's a lot of moving parts. But what made this really challenging was I was live streaming the ceremony and the reception in two different locations, two different rooms, rather, same venue, but two different rooms. And what was what was even more stressful, one more layer of complexity for the reception, the groom's family lives in Australia and they couldn't actually be at the wedding in the United States because of the COVID restrictions in Australia. They couldn't leave no matter how much they wanted to. So they had to Zoom in for the wedding. So this wedding was live streamed via YouTube Live, which you can actually see it on my channel if you'd like. And I'm going to play some previews of it in a bit. So the wedding was YouTube Live, but then we had the family from Australia Zoom in so that they could give speeches during the reception. Now that meant two things for me. One, and I was handling the Zoom. So I had to handle the Zoom, somehow play it for everyone in the room, but then also play it into the live stream for YouTube Live for everyone watching around the globe. So I was like, okay, it doesn't sound too bad. It's kind of what I've been doing, on this channel with these live streams when I've interviewed other people like Ariel, Greg, Crystal. I've had zoomed in guests, interview guests, doing a split screen. Like I've done that before. So, theoretically, no big deal. So yes, the wedding ceremony that had multicam angles. It wasn't just one camera. We were doing multicam, and then the reception, which was a multicam as well, with the addition of Zoom. It was a lot. It was a lot. So what I want to talk about are really like the three moves I made, the three defining moments that made the live stream work and work pretty damn well. So the first thing that I did was I did a whole practice run, a whole tech rehearsal. I had an assistant, my friend Matt. I had an assistant with me, and he and I, the day before, packed all the bags, went to a different location with a big table that we could use, and we set up everything and did a practice run, a tech rehearsal. Now, this was very important for me. While I already knew exactly what I was doing, I knew this cable went there, and I knew, click this button to route that audio signal there, and then this camera here. I knew all that. I've written down diagrams and diagrams of what to do, but I needed to physically do it. I needed to get my hands in there and set everything up exactly how I would do it, exactly from the bags, the way I packed all the gear in the bags. I needed to do it. And that was extremely beneficial to me. It was even more beneficial to Matt because he was just my assistant, and he comes from a broadcast background, but not like a internet live stream broadcast background. So a lot of his skills translated, but some were brand new. So him seeing what I was doing and him seeing everything was very beneficial for him and myself, because in the scenario or in the event where I was, if I had a brain fart, which I did a couple times, just my mind went blank, he could be like, oh, we did that yesterday. Get that cable. We need that cable over there. Oh, you're right, Matt. Okay, thank you. So having that practice run was majorly beneficial. I want to check the comments here, see what we got going on. All right. So, practice, the tech rehearsal, that was huge. That was a huge power move on my part, and I'm glad I did it. Second power move, we'll just call them. The second thing that I wanted to do was just show up early on the day of, which sounds like a no duh, but I wanted to show up early. I wanted to really make sure everything was good. So the ceremony started at 4:30. I think I was there. I planned to get there at 2:00. I actually got there even earlier, maybe like 20 of 2, because I wanted the ability to just walk in with plenty of time and just kind of see the space, talk with the people I needed to talk with, introduce myself, and then take it from there. I'm glad I did that, because I walked in and, met the people that I needed to meet, and they actually said, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And, instead of that, which is something, I planned for one thing, and they said, no, we're going to do it this way. Oh, okay. Well, now I have the time to accommodate and think, okay, well, we can do this now so that we don't need to. Okay. And I made a solution because I had plenty of time and I had the headspace. I was not burdened by, okay, we got to set up, we got to get going, got to go. Okay, no problem. And that was really beneficial because I was just able to set everything up the right way the first time, not be rushed, make sure everything's good. And it was. When it came time for the ceremony, which was the first thing I was going live for, when it came time to the ceremony, it just started happening. And I was like, all right, do. Cut to that camera, play this, we're good. Majorly beneficial. So my third power move, which really, I don't know if I even like the word power move, but the third thing that I consciously did was out of necessity. So some backstory of progression of the story, rather. We did the ceremony. It was fantastic, very nice. And after the ceremony, we had a bit of a cocktail hour, and that's where we broke down the system and moved it to the reception room. So this is where it got a little hectic, because instead of having 2 hours to set up, we had 30 minutes. And we did as much ahead of time as possible, but we couldn't set up everything ahead of time because we had to use it for the ceremony. So we had very little time to set up. We kind of just grabbed things from the ceremony area, plopped them down for the reception, and like the table, the cables were getting all jumbled because I was just grabbing them and we just gotta move. We gotta move. And that is where I fell short, because I got caught up in the the hustle and bustle, the timeline, the deadlines. Oh my gosh, I got to move. I got to move. I got to do it. Well, I was trying to manage so much. And I mean, I did have a lot to manage, but some things stopped working. And I don't know why they didn't work. It was actually quite frustrating, but they stopped working. And I had to troubleshoot. I had to figure out a solution. And I just was not in that clear headspace because I was so rushed and so ah. So it got to the point where one issue I had, there were multiple, but one issue I had was I had to, I took a line from the DJ or from the band. I took a audio line from them so I could get the music and the speeches and the microphones. I got a line in from them, but then I also had the Zoom from Australia. We had the Zoom feed going into my computer. Well, I needed to give the band a line from the Zoom so that they could project that sound. So when they're talking on Zoom, everyone in the room could hear the Zoom. Well, something was not working on my end. I was trying to reroute an audio signal so that the Zoom could go to the DJ, but I needed this USB device, but only that was working, and I needed to circumvent that, and just it was not working. It was not going according to plan. So I was trying to think of a solution. And this is like an audio guy's worst nightmare. I thought I made a solution. I was rerouting something, and then all of a sudden, you just hear this massive feedback. I'm like, oh my God. And I was just like, is this me? Is it them? I don't know. And then the guys are looking at me, and I'm just like turn the audio knob down, and then it all goes away. And then I'm like, shit, it's me. Oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? More panic. And it got to the point where I remember I was just looking at my screen, and I was rerouting the Zoom audio, and I was like, where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go? And I froze. I froze hard. And it was at that point where I remembered that the venue coordinator, he said to me, he goes, if you need an extra speaker for the Zoom, let me know. He said that to me like 20 minutes prior. And my original plan was to use the DJ, the band speakers. And I was frozen, and I was trying to figure out, how do I make this work with the band speakers? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And that's when I took a step back, took a drink of water, took a deep breath. And that's when it clicked to me. I could get the speaker from the venue. I know that'll work. It's pretty straightforward. It's not my original plan, but let's do it. Because we were running out of time. Like, guests were coming in. Like, we were about to start, and I was not ready. And thank God that everyone I worked with, the venue, the wedding coordinator, the couple, the DJs, like everyone was so kind and so good, and we were all focused on just making this wedding the best experience possible for the bride and groom, which, doesn't actually happen all that often. There's a lot of vendors who just focus on themselves and, screw everyone else, but everyone I worked with was so good and so willing to help because they knew it would help the couple. So yeah, I took that breath and I said, Matt, my assistant, I said, Matt, go get the venue coordinator. We're going to get that speaker. because that was the path of least resistance. Doesn't matter if the night went on not according to my plan. As long as it worked, it worked. And we set up the speaker, and they handled that, so that left me to just kind of keep doing my thing, and it worked. Oh my gosh. And it's just that moment. So here's the power move, if we're going to keep using that term. I took a deep breath despite the circumstances, despite the panic and the chaos and the rushing and the da 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 da. I took a deep breath. And it's funny enough because I just started listening to an audiobook, Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, which was actually recommended by my friend Greg Corey. He's reading it or just finished it, and he got me into it. And I think it was like 2 days after yesterday. Yesterday, I was listening to it, and it talked about breathing and how much you can benefit from just controlling your breathing. And I look back to Sunday when I froze under all the pressure, all the chaos, and I just controlled my breathing. And that's what let me find the solution. That's what made the night go on. No one knew the difference. And it worked. So I think if I were to kind of wrap this up as one big takeaway for you, someone who wants to host a live video event, whether you're physically doing the tech or you're hiring a crew to do the tech, making sure that the crew you hire is experienced, knows how to troubleshoot and problem solve, and knows to just breathe and not get caught up in the commotion, not get caught up in the chaos. Because if you are producing a live video event and you're reacting to everything and you're not sticking to your knowledge and your experience, and you're just getting caught up in all the craziness, chances are the live stream might not work out. But if you hire someone who is experienced and knows the pressure and knows how to handle the pressure, you hire a company that knows how to breathe, you're probably going to have a really successful live video event. Those are just some quick thoughts from me, from my very recent live streaming event experience. And I know that the next live stream event I do, I will be even more prepared, and I will always continue to grow and make live events better, the live streams better. So I hope this little riff, if you call it, little introspective chat was helpful, or you got some takeaways from this. I know I was smiling as soon as I finished that event because, I learned a lot, and we made a really valuable experience for the couple, for their families across the globe, and all their friends. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you are not so into the live, or like you like the live, but you're going to just hire someone else, but you do want to dabble into video production, but you kind of have no idea where to start with the tech and stuff, I actually have a free list of gear that you can get the list at christiangolic.com/survival pack, which the link is in the description. It's just a list of my favorite camera gear that really anyone can just buy, set up, and start making great video content. So check that out. Link in the description. And I will see you all in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody.